Good morning, children. Here I am again with a new lesson. Today we are going to read a very interesting lesson. Who will be Ningthou? Ningthou, yes, it's a word. It is a word in Manipuri language. So, as you have guessed right, this is a story from Manipur. And Ningthou is a word which means king, and Lima is a queen in Manipuri language. Now let's begin with the story. Long, long ago, in the land of Kanglepak in Manipur, there lived a Ningthou and a Lima. That means in this land called Kanglepak, there was a king and a queen. They were loved dearly by the people. The Ningthou and Lima, on their part, never stopped thinking about their miem, that is, their people, their people who lived in their land. Our miem should be happy, they said. The people were not the only ones who lived there. Ningthou and Lima. The birds and animals too loved them. The Ningthou and Lima always said, everybody in Kanglepak should live in peace. So children, they loved their people, they loved their animals, trees, and every living creature. And that is why it was a very, very happy and a prosperous land. Their beloved king and queen had 3 sons, Sanajoba, Sanayama, and Sanatomba. 12 years later, a daughter was born. She was named Sanatombi. She was a lovely child, soft and beautiful inside. She was loved by one and all. So they had 4 children, 3 sons and a daughter. And the daughter was the youngest of all, and she was born after 12 years of the other 3 children. And she was soft as well as very beautiful, and hence was loved by each and everyone. The years went by and the children grew up well. And then one day, the Ningthou called all his ministers and said, it is now time to decide the Tungi Ningthou, that is, the future king. The ministers were shocked. But O Ningthou, what is there to decide? Sanajoba, your eldest son, will be our future king. So as is the custom, children, in most of the kingdoms, whichever son is the eldest, he becomes the king. Well, the Ningthou replied, that's how it happened in the old days. The eldest son always became the king, but times have changed. So let us select a king who is most worthy of becoming a king. So here the Ningthou believed in the modern era, and he said, we will not follow the customs, and the person, whoever is worthy of becoming a king, will be declared as future king. We will have a contest to select the future king, the Lima said. And so in the land of Kanglepak, there was a contest, a horse race. Whoever reached the Kongnang, that is the banyan tree, first would be declared Tungi Ningthou. But then a strange thing happened. Sanajoba, Sanayama, and Sanatomba, all 3 of them finished the race together. They were expert riders, and all 3 reached the finish line at the same time. So now children, here there was a tie. All 3 of them had won the race together. But you had to decide one of them. There was great excitement. Look at them, the people shouted. Shagol, Thopa, Nupa, such fine horsemen. But one question remained. Who will be Tungi Ningthou. So now the people were also confused that since all three of them had won the race, who will be the future king? The Ningthou and Lima turned to their sons. The Ningthou said, Sanajoba, Sanayama, and Sanatomba, you have proved that you are fine horsemen. Do something different, each one of you, so that we can decide who will be Tungi Ningthou. So now a new challenge was thrown to them, and the Ningthou said, do something different which enables us to decide which one of you should be the future king. Suddenly, Sanajoba mounted his horse and held his spear straight in front of him. He looked around. There was a hush among people. What is Sanajoba the eldest going to do? They thought to themselves. Sanajoba then looked at the huge Conrad standing majestically in the distance. So he looked at the huge banyan tree which was standing at the distance. He pierced the tree and jumped his horse right through it. So that means he threw his spear, and with that he pierced the tree in two and then was able to jump his horse through the tree. Bravo, bravo, the people shouted. Thauro, Thauro. And then they fell silent. Now it was the turn of the second son, Sanayama. What would he do? Sanayama too looked at the Conrad as he mounted his horse. Then he too rode towards the tree, harder and harder. The people watched in silence, afraid even to breathe. When he was really close, he urged his horse to jump. Higher and higher the horse rose until horse and rider jumped clear over the huge tree and landed on the other side in a wonderful motion. So children, the second son, he was able to jump over the huge tree. He took such a high jump. The people breathed in relief and said in unison, Fajay, Fajay, wonderful, wonderful. And now it was the turn of the youngest son, Sanatomba. He too rode his horse towards the Conrad, and before anybody knew what was happening, uprooted it. That means the whole tree was brought to the ground along with its roots. Triumphantly, he carried the tree to the Ningthou and Lima and laid it at their feet. So imagine, children, how strong this boy was. He uprooted the tree and also he carried it and laid it at the feet of the king and queen. He must be very strong. Shouts of Thauro, Thauro, Fajay, Fajay filled the mountains. The people grew restless. Why were the Ningthou and the Lima taking so long to make the announcement? Because now here the people wondered that why they were taking so much of time. According to them, the youngest son had done a great deed, so he should be declared as the Ningthou. They craned their necks to see what was happening. The Ningthou and Lima were watching Sanatombi, their 5-year-old daughter. She looked sad and lonely. She stared at the Conrad, which lay dead by the throne. Birds flapped worriedly around, searching for the homes in the tree. Sanatombi walked up to the Conrad and whispered, "The Conrad is dead. It was hurt by the sphere and now it is dead." So this young girl was really upset and worried that her brothers had brought the huge tree down and caused it to die. The people were all attention. The Ningthou stood up. He looked at the 3 boys. He looked at the little girl. He turned to the people. "If anybody is worthy of becoming the ruler," he said, "it is little Sanatombi. It was she who told us to look at the soul of the Conrad. Sanatombi feels the pain of others. She feels the pain of the people, the animals, the birds, the trees. I declare Sanatombi, the future Lima of Kanglipak, the Ningthou said. A silence fell. Everyone turned to look at the little girl, their future queen. There she stood, all of 5, like a small Conrad, with birds flying all around her. They sat on her shoulders and on her head. She held out her hands full of grain, and the birds flapped about her, pecking at the food. A lima is one who doesn't hurt anybody in the kingdom. So, this story teaches us that in order to be a king or a queen, the most important quality is to be kind, considerate, helpful, and to feel about the pain of the people, the animals, the birds, all the living creatures. I hope you liked the story, children. Bye for now. Take care.